Greetings, heroes. It's your trusty kid sidekick here with another haul video for the month of April 2023. The collection ramps up a little with the addition of two other lines to talk about, one of which is a brand new toy line to my collection. Here you get a little peek into my MCU mindset, my love for the Indiana Jones franchise, emphasis on the first three films, and my favorite toy line of 2023. Yes, I can say with certainty, G.I. Joe is my favorite action figure line currently. But the Four Horsemen line of Mythic and Cosmic Legions have a tight second contender grip that could easily flip-flop that sentiment down the road. I'd like to begin this with an oddity. I'm not a Men on Card collector by any means, but for the Star Wars 40th anniversary line with the OG card backs, I love them. I love to display them. They look great. This Admiral Akbar was kind of a surprise to me, though. I think it was an exclusive at the time. I was not expecting it to be a foil back card. Only two that I know of are currently like that. I was kind of hoping for it to be a little bit more uniform, but it is what it is, and it's not bad. So I enjoy having it. Makkari is a holdover from the Gilgamesh wave released in 2021. I'm an MCU completionist, but sometimes you have to take a gamble on figures, hoping they'll be on clearance a month or two after they've been released. After a while, I forgot that I never got her. I happened to be on Entertainment Earth, and she was under $10. That's the only reason this figure is here. I have no true love for the character or the whole group of Eternals that these are based on. The movie is actually in my bottom 5 of MCU movies. Makkari is a decent figure with an impressive head sculpt, but the hairstyle doesn't match the movie look. Of the available hands, I thought one was a Devil Horn Rockstar hand. I later found out it's sign language for I love you, which would make sense seeing how Makkari is a deaf character. And now you know. Icarus seems to be the Wish.com version of Superman. Everything said about Makkari previously can be said about Icarus. This is another late entry into the collection because of my intuition about it being a possible clearance item and then forgetting about it. Living the completionist lifestyle can be a drag sometimes, especially when you're looking at a team on your shelf missing a crucial member, or a Build-A-Figure missing an arm or a leg. The figure itself is a good representation of the film character and actor, where I feel like they were able to nail his likeness. But with such a bare-bones figure and the original asking price on top of a lackluster franchise, you can see why this was so heavily discounted. I love the first 3 Indiana Jones movies, where oddly enough Raiders ranks the lowest. We won't mention the last 2, by the way. For unknown reasons, the Indy figure was hard to find in my area, so I had to settle and I picked up these 2. Sala is a fine-looking figure, but lacks the posability with the plastic goods of the outfit. I see more use for him as a background character to fill out desert scenes or displays. His accessories are kind of on the meh side of things, whereas the shovel head looks off to me, and the rope doesn't really sit right on the figure's arm. Arnold Tote is a great representation of the actor and has all the necessary accessories for multiple scenes from the movie. I've always been enamored with the overcoat look draped over the shoulders for bad guys. It's such a typical bad guy look. What was the shock to me was the removable hat that looks flawless and not too bulky off or on the head. Originally conceived in the Expanded Universe novels Heir to the Empire from 1991, reading books without pictures just wasn't a thing I was into. It was comic books or nothing, baby. I knew nothing about the character other than a picture of a redhead wielding a purple lightsaber. Later, it blew my mind to find out that she was the wife of Luke Skywalker, and that there could be more to the Star Wars story than just the 3 movies. As the Black Series grew and the possibilities of expanded universe characters became feasible, she became a top 5 one. Having this hand, though, is kind of underwhelming. It's a decent looking figure sculpt-wise, with a nice looking box presentation, but it's lacking the extras for such a premium price. Not to mention, mine was very loose in the wrist, and it made it very difficult to pose with the lightsaber. Also, standing on its own seemed to be a bit problematic. One or two looks is all you really get with it. From The Mandalorian Chapter 11 episode comes Axe Woves. There's not much to go on background-wise with him other than suggesting you watch the Stellar series. The figure itself looks like it steps right out of the TV and onto the shelf. It has all the same articulation as the earlier Mandalorian army building figures, but with a nice-looking head sculpt of the actor portraying him. I love Mandalorians, and having the trio standing side by side looks great on the shelf. Surprisingly, this is Dr. Aphra's second figure. I say that simply because it's an expanded universe character, and a look, if I'm not mistaken, from just one issue or a cover. Don't get me wrong, I like the look of the figure, and it's probably my favorite Star Wars figure of the month. The removable cap, the duster jacket that pushed back to reveal her pistol, it's all a great look. She also poses very well, unlike Mara Jade. Again, this is light on accessories, which is a common theme with the Black Series. At some point, the pricing and actual toyetic value of the Black Series is going to tip the scales into some dark times. Lieutenant Falcon comes from a tipping point in my original G.I. Joe fandom. The 1987 movie does not hold a high spot in my heart, and I find that the 1987 wave of Joes to be the last of the actual enjoyable figures, before the repainted teams and the crazy Dayglow paint jobs. His portrayal in the movie always bothered me because he didn't come across as a likable character. To me, he was just a spoiled little half-brother to one of my favorite Joes, Duke. But his look does fit in with the rest of the group's aesthetic. As you can see, the figure from the shoulder down looks great. The head, though, something doesn't translate right. And there's nothing else that I can add that hasn't already been mocked by others. He does seem to be one of the more bare-bones packed figures in the classified line, lacking all the extras that most Joes come with. The second ever female of the OG G.I. Joe line, originally made in 1983. CoverGirl was not something that I expected Hasbro to make. I don't remember her standing out much in the comic or the cartoon. She is best known as the driver of the Wolverine missile tank. While bummed I can't have that tank, it's still awesome to be able to fill out the Joe ranks, especially with more female representation. I know there is a debate on whether she should have the red-brown hair from the OG toy or the blonde look she portrayed back and forth in the cartoon. I will always side with the look of the OG toy, and this one works great for me. The wrench and the datapad are cool accessories, and I love the fact that everything can be stored on the figure, which is a standard for mostly all these classified figures. Another one from the 1987 bubble, Outback always had a standout look to me, and they got him right here. Previously released in his Tiger Force look, I knew this one was coming soon, and I constantly amazed how the Hasbro team can get these newer classified releases to look so close to their OG counterparts, not only with the figure, but also with the weapons and backpacks. The figure poses elegantly with its engineering, and the accessories never seem to get in the way of the pose. If I had to gripe about something, it would be that the belt shoulder harness. I'd like to be able to take these off and on as needed. I would love to have a pose with his original card where he's holding his backpack from the straps. Once again, thank you for your time, and please come back for my May 2023 haul.